you never know. On to the next one. Let me find him. And that is Theo Hernandez. Now, Theo Hernandez, 442, say the standout left-back in Serie A this season. Hernandez has contributed to 9 league goals for AC Milan this campaign, 4 goals and 5 assists. Arguably the best dribbler on the list, the Frenchman is a joy to watch when in possession, taking on players and helping to overload opposition defences. On the ball, his composure and passing are unparalleled among Serie A defenders, though his crossing leaves a lot to be desired. Still just 23, Hernandez is yet to play for the senior French national side, evidence of the strength in depth Didier Deschamps has. He has got a huge future ahead of him. So, Theo Hernandez. Now, he is 23, so he's right in that perfect age bracket. Transfer market give him a value of around £45 million at AC Milan. Now, his Serie A appearances, 33 appearances, 7 goals and 6 assists. Overall, 45 appearances, 8 goals and 8 assists. So great stats, really, really good stats. He's in contract until June 2024, so he's still got 3 years left. And Football Critic give him a rating of 82. Now, positionally, he's very, very good. He's technically brilliant. He loves a tackle. He's strong and he's quick. Now, 7 goals and 6 assists, 8 goals and 8 assists. Not bad considering that 442 say his crossing isn't or leaves a lot to be desired. But I really like this guy. I really, really do. If I had to pick one out of all of them, it'd be this guy. It'd be Theo Hernandez for me. That's the player I would go for if I was Manchester City. Right age, 8 goals, 8 assists. It'd be between him and maybe Guerrero, but I'm going to stick with this one. Theo Hernandez. There it is. That's my shout. Munich. Which leads us on to the one that somebody did say, please, can you talk about him? Can't remember who it is, but a shout out to that person who said, can you talk about Manuel Locatelli? Well, Manuel Locatelli is 23 years of age, so in that perfect age range. Now, he's at Sassuolo. Transfer market give him a value of £31.5 million. Now, when you look at how much he's played, 34 games, he scored 4 goals and 3 assists. Now, when you weigh that up, I'm trying to look at Leon Goretzka in the Bundesliga. 32 games, 8 goals, 9 assists. But you look at Verratti's 31 games, no goals, 6 assists. So 4 goals and 3 assists, not too bad. Serie A is, it's a little bit more conservative. We know, like I said, 31.5 million is what transfer market put on him. Probably if Italy go long in the Euros, that will increase significantly. However, football critics give him a rating of 90, which is more than Kimmich, it's more than Mason Mount, it's more than Goretzka, it's more than Frenkie de Jong, and it's more than Marco Verratti. They give him nearly the highest rating for midfielders in world football. And that was done prior, those ratings were done prior to the World Cup starting. And he's had a pretty decent World Cup so far. So, Manuel Locatelli, 23 years of age, perfect bracket, age bracket for a Pep Guardiola. I don't know. I threw that one in because somebody asked me would I talk about him. Yeah, football critics have given him a massive rating there, huge rating, which leads me on to an Englishman. Obviously, at the Euros, that's Declan Rice. Now, Declan Rice is 22, so he's a year younger than Locatelli. Obviously, at West Ham, had a good season. Did well in the first game for England in the Euros. Not great the other night against Scotland. But if we look at his figures, and this is the only thing that worries me a little bit. Declan Rice, transfer market give him a value of 58.5 million. And we know you can add another 10 million or 20 million onto that if you want to. 35 games, 2 goals and 1 assist. Now, I know he's a defensive midfielder per se. Tell you what I'll do is while I'm actually filming this video, I'm just gonna type up. I'm just gonna type up on here. What did Fernandinho get last season? Let me just see what he got. Fernandinho got 1 goal and 4 assists last season. 1 goal and 4 assists. And he played 36 games in total. Now, he played 2,170 minutes. So Declan Rice definitely played more minutes than that, without a shadow of a doubt. But if you look at it, yeah, 2 goals, 1 assist. Oh, great. When we're talking here about, you know, Frankie de Jong, 7 goals, 8 assists. Leon Goretzka, 8 goals, 9 assists. And I know they're slightly different players. I do understand that. Mason Mount, 9 goals, 9 assists. Kimmich, who plays, you know, fairly defensive role, 6 and 14 assists. Manuel Locatelli, 4 goals, 3 assists. Declan Rice, 2 goals and 1 assist. Granted, he wasn't playing long in cup competitions. He wasn't playing long in the Champions League. Wasn't in the Champions League. But anyway, 58.5 million is what transfer market give him. Football critics give him a rating of 86. So he's on the low end of those players in the top 10 anyway. Which leads me on to the last two. On one who has gotten lots and lots and lots of clickbaits and everything else at the moment. And that is this fellow. Well, we know it's all about Jack Grealish in it at the moment. Everyone's crying out for him to play for England. He should be replacing Sterling, Foden, everybody else. Well, his stats actually do back it up. His stats do back it up. And there's obviously the big rumours of Jack Grealish. Man City want Jack Grealish, blah, 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 blah. Well, Jack Grealish is 25. Perfect age, no problem whatsoever. He's got Premier League experience. He had a few injuries. He had a few off-the-field issues as well. But he played 27 games. So if I look through that, he played the least games out of any of these midfielders last season, obviously because of some injuries. But he scored 7 goals and he got 12 assists. Now that's really good. Really, out of 27 games for Villa. Transfer market value him at 58.5 million. So he is the same value as Declan Rice. Obviously, slightly different players. But he's up in the Mason Mounts, the Goretzka, the Verratti. He's more than Verratti, because of his age. He's still young, 25 years of age. Football Critic give him a rating of 85. It's at the low end of these players, considering that, you know, he's in the higher end bracket of pricing, I would suggest. But 27 games, 7 goals, 12 assists. That is decent. That is really, really decent. He would not cost 58.5 million. I guarantee you that. He would be closer to 70, 80 million, at least for me. Anyone else score more goals than him from midfield? Granted, they are slightly different players. No. Anybody get any assists more than him this season? No. The only one close was Grealish on 12, Kimmich on 14. But again, Jack Grealish played 13 games less. Kimmich played 39, 1 game less. He got 6 goals, 14 assists. De Bruyne, 40 games, 1 game more, 10 goals, 18 assists. That's in the Premier League. It just shows you how good Kevin De Bruyne is. But what it does highlight to me, it really does. Not a player I'm particularly keen on, but just goes to show you what Jack Grealish's stats are like. They are decent. They are really decent. So I'm going to go through like I did on the left back. What am I going to give it out of 10 for it happening? Marco Verratti, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Ain't happening. Simple as. Frankie de Jong, I'm going to give it the same. Can't see him leaving Barcelona. I think he's the future in midfield for me. Leon Goretzka, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Again, I can't see him leaving Bayern. Bayern will not sell him. Mason Mount, Champions League winner. Same again, 4 out of 10. Ain't happening. Joshua Kimmich, I'm going to give that a 1 out of 10 because I'd love him to come. I just think he's the mainstay in that Bayern team. He's just he's a wonderful player. There's no way in a million years Bayern would ever let him come. Yeah, even with the Pep Guardiola pull, it ain't happening. Now, Manuel Locatelli, I'm gonna give that a 6 out of 10. I'd like to see what he does in the Euros right the way through. Because he's only around about 31 and a half, 32 million pound player. Maybe at 23, that is something City are looking at in these Euros. Maybe. I don't know. But I'd still give it a 6 out of 10, purely because I'm not sure whether City really need a midfielder. Declan Rice. I think they're going to be bids in for him. I'm going to give Declan Rice a 7 out of 10. I do think there'll be bids in for him, even though when I look at his stats, they're not the best. They're not. Jack Grealish, I do think this is an 8 out of 10. I do. I really do. And I'm like that with him. 27 games, 7 goals, 12 assists. Stacks up against everybody, with the exception, obviously, of Kevin De Bruyne. But he's pretty close to Kevin De Bruyne. I do think this is going to be the bid. I really do. If we're going to go for a midfielder, I think it's going to be Jack Grealish, and I'm giving that an 8 out of 10. Which leads us to thank God we tied down Kevin De Bruyne, because what a player he is. 40 games, 10 goals, 18 assists. But anyway, this is Andy from Man City Fan TV. That is your midfield summer transfer roundup. Gave you Verratti, De Jong, Goretzka, Mount, Kimmich, Locatelli, Rice, KDB, and Jack Grealish, even though Kevin De Bruyne is a Man City player. And this is somebody who has been rumoured to Manchester City in recent weeks. Whether this will happen or not, whether you guys would like him here, but he's certainly playing well for Belgium and has had a good season for Inter Milan, and that is Romelu Lukaku. Now, he's 28, so he's in the sort of Harry Kane bracket of age range. Now, is he probably a couple of years too late? Which with Harry Kane, I've got that with him. Or is he coming into his own now at 28, 29, 30? We'll look at other players who are older, who over the last 3 years have definitely upped their game. Now, Romelu Lukaku for Inter Milan, last season, all competitions, 44 games, 30 goals, 10 assists. I mean, they're significant numbers, really, really good numbers. Transfer market volume at £90 million. He's probably going to cost more than 90 million, if I'm being honest. But you can see now the difference when I think Jack Grealish was valued at around about 40 million. And now we're already seeing rumours of 88 million. So I can't imagine doubling that to 180, but I think he would definitely be in the 140 million pound bracket somewhere along the line if let's say a Real Madrid or a Barcelona wanted to snap up a striker. 28, so he is in there. He's contracted to Inter Milan until 2024. Football Critic rate him at 90. Okay, so he's not the highest. He's not even nowhere near 95 that Andre Silva is, but he is in the higher end of the ratings. Maybe. It's a maybe from me, but I still think maybe Kane is slightly ahead of him because he's English. But I don't know. He's had a good season. Very, very good. He's had a good couple of seasons. Played well for Belgium, as we've seen as well, which moves us on to the nemesis, the one that everyone talks about, and that is Erling Haaland. Well, as we know, Erling Haaland for Dortmund, he'll be 21 in July. So his age is irrelevant. It really is, because he's such a young kid and has got years ahead of him to improve. Transfer market give him a value of 117 million, which is the highest out of any of these players we're going to talk about. Probably the highest in world football, unless you put a Messi in there or Ronaldo. So in the transfer target era, 117 million is seriously high. No way in a million years can I see him going for 117 million, not this season in particular. I think you're looking at 150 million plus to get Haaland this particular season. Now, 41 games in all competitions, 41 goals, 12 assists. I mean, those stats are outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. But we have seen him play against City. Wasn't great. Wasn't bad, but he was average, let's say, over those 2 games in the Champions League. But for such a young kid, 20 years of age, currently 41 games, 41 goals, 12 assists. I mean, it's massive stats, those. Football Critic give him a rating of 93. So, it's still there. I've got a real nagging feeling that, or maybe I won't say it now. Maybe I'll say it at the end. But anyway, let's move on to the next one, which is obviously Harry Kane. Now, got off the mark for England last night. Wasn't great against the Germans, but got his goal. Got a typical sort of Harry Kane header. Good ball in from Jack Grealish. So maybe those two might link up with City for next season. Now, as it stands at the moment, he's going to be 28 in July. So he's a similar age to Lukaku as well. £108 million transfer market value. And I think that's probably one of the most realistic valuations for me. I wouldn't say he's worth another 40, 50 million on top of that, like you would do if it was Erling Haaland or even a Romelu Lukaku. I think he would be 130, 140 million. I think Kane is around about the 110, 120 maximum for me. So 49 games in all competitions. This is somebody that people claim, oh yeah, but he's always injured. 49 games, 33 goals, 17 assists. So he assists. I think, yes, out of all these players I'm talking about, he's got the highest assists by some distance. He's got 5 more than Erling Haaland, but Erling Haaland's got some more goals, but he has played more games as well. So 108 million, Harry Kane, will it happen? I'm not so sure. I'm really not so sure. I think if he goes on to have an absolutely amazing Euros and England get to a final or win it, those type of things, I think that might put his price bracket out of reach for City. I don't think they'll pay 150 because if he wins, if he lifts the Euro 2020-2021 tournament cup, I think you can add another 20, 30 million on top of it. And there'll be other teams out there, like to Madrid and others, that will pay that type of money. I can't see City going that far for Harry Kane. Not at, he's going to be 28 in the coming weeks. So Football Critic give him a rating of 89. So he's not even up there in close to the likes of an Andre Silva in their eyes anyway. But the last one, long shot. A massive long shot, but I had to include it because he was in there and there has been a few rumours going around about it, and that is obviously Robert Lewandowski. Now, he's going to be 33 in August, so he is not in that bracket of age range that we would normally go for. However, he's like a fine wine. He has just got better with age. Absolutely improved. The last 3 seasons, he's just got better and better and better. Now, I'm sure Munich would not want to sell him, probably might want to keep him for another year or two. But transfer market value at £54 million. I think he possibly, if he went on a free maybe in the future, but yeah, maybe around about 50 million if he's got a year or so left on his contract. Now, look at his stats. 40 games in all competitions, 48 goals, 9 assists. 40 games, 48 goals. I mean, goes to show you we're all raving about Erling Haaland. 41 games, 41 goals, 12 assists. I mean, they're brilliant figures for such a young kid. Lewandowski, 40 games, 48 goals. How often do you ever see strikers scoring more goals than the games that they play? It is quite rare. I mean, we've seen Messi do it and Ronaldo and things. I mean, they're world superstars, exceptional players. But he's as fit as a fiddle. He's all right. He's been injured just in the Euros lately, but he generally plays quite a lot of games. Look what Edison Cavani did for Manchester United. Would it be worth bringing him to City for a cut price deal and maybe going for an Erling Haaland next season? I don't know. Football Critic give him the highest rating at 99. 99. And when you think Haaland's on 93. Lukaku's on 90. Andre Silva's on 95. I don't know. Pep's worked with him. He knows him. Could he be the surprise package this summer? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they might look at the Kane and go, not too sure we're going to pay that much money. Could we get a Lewandowski at City for a year or two, 18 months, 2 years? And maybe next season go in for Haaland because Dortmund will not sell him this summer, according to Dortmund. But as we know, money talks in all of these situations. So there you go. There, I've given you Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I've given you Andre Silva, Ciro Immobile, Romelu Lukaku, Erling Haaland, Harry Kane, and Robert Lewandowski. What are your thoughts? Before I go, I will rate them like I normally do in this final episode. So Dominic, can't say his name, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I'm giving that a 4 out of 10. Can't see it happening, just simply can't for me. Andre Silva, if I had to give it, I'd give that a 7 out of 10. His stats are brilliant. He wouldn't cost anywhere near a Haaland or Harry Kane. He's had a great season. He's only got a couple of years left on his contract. So I'd give that, if I was looking at it, not that this will happen, but I would give that as a good possibility that City might sniff around him. Immobile, 4 out of 10. Can't see that happening. Still got 4 years left on his contract. He's 31. Even though he's had a good season for Lazio, not for me. Lukaku, I'd give that as a 6 out of 10. He's in the sort of right age range, potentially, or he's at the top end of your age range. Buying a new striker at 28, it probably his last big contract. Had a good season, 44 goals, 44 games, 30 goals, 10 assists. He's had a good season, but still got 3 years left on his contract. A 6 out of 10 for me for that one. Erling Haaland. Here you go. I'm going to give this one a 1 out of 10. I can't see it happening. I can't see Haaland moving this summer. I think the agent, Raiola, his dad, everything else, Dortmund don't want him to go. They're obviously looking at selling Jadon Sancho. I can't see them selling Sancho and Haaland in one season. It might happen. I just think the price would be phenomenal. And I don't think City, if City were going for Jack Grealish and they we're going all in for a striker, yeah, I think this could be a real possibility, but I just don't. I can't see it happening. I just simply can't, in my opinion. I think they might wait until next year. If they may already have had talks, they may have gone to them and they've said no, he's going nowhere this season. But next season, there might be room for negotiation, and he might leave. But I don't know. I can't see it happening. I just can't. Not if the rumours are true about Jack Grealish. It leads me to Harry Kane. I still think this is a possible 6 out of 10. I do think that is dependent on what happens in this tournament. I think if England get knocked out against Ukraine and we come home empty-handed, I think it could be. It could be. I think it depends on what manager Tottenham get as well. Tottenham were to sign a really good manager that Harry Kane likes, he may deep down go, you know what? Give me the money. Show me the money. Jerry Maguire. And I'll stay. I'll stay till the end of my career. I'll sign another 5-year contract and I'll stay and that'll be it. But I think it all depends on who the manager is. I've seen managers come in that is liked, like Pochettino, get shipped on. You've seen Mourinho come in who probably didn't like. And now we've got all of these rumours of interviewing one manager after another. I don't know. I think it's going to be a very up and down summer for him. And I think it all depends on how he does with the Euros. So I'm going to give that a 6 out of 10 as well, which leads me to Lewandowski. I don't know. It all depends on what happens. All depends on what happens with Harry Kane. Lewandowski, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I can't see Munich wanting to get rid of him. But for 30, 40 million for a couple of seasons, he's just super, super professional. He really is. Pep knows him. Pep might, if they go down the route of going, you know what, we need a make weight. We need something in there, a gap stopper for another year until we go all in for Haaland. That could be a possibility. I just can't see Munich wanting to get rid of him. too good. 40 games, 48 goals. It's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal figures. So overall, looking at them, of course, I think Haaland would be the one if we could, but I can't see us spending all that money on, if it's true, Jack Grealish, and then spending a load of money on a left back if we do, and then spending another 120, 130 million, or even 150 if Kane has a really good tournament. I just can't see it. 250 million quid on 3 players. I can't. Not if Erling. They won't buy Kane. Well, if they buy Kane, they're not going to go in for Haaland next season if Haaland stays at Dortmund. So for me, yeah, I don't know. If I had to, I picked my highest one, and that is somebody who I think we could potentially go for. Pep may look at it, played in the Bundesliga, knows about him. He's had a great season, 34 games, 29 goals, 10 assists. He's 25 years of age. He's only got a couple of years left on his contract. They probably could negotiate with Eintracht Frankfurt for a decent deal, maybe even a player swap in there, maybe with maybe some of our younger players or fringe players, a Benjamin Mendy even, or someone like that, is Andre Silva. I gave that a 7 out of 10. I don't know. What are your thoughts? What do you think really will happen in the summer? Like I said, you've got there Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Andre Silva, Immobile, Romelu Lukaku, Erling Haaland, Harry Kane, and Robert Lewandowski. Give me your thoughts. Well, that brings us to the end of the summer transfer episodes. 3 of them, left back, midfielders, and attackers and strikers. What are your thoughts? Do we need a left back? Do we need another midfielder? Do we definitely need a striker? Or have we got enough with a false 9 and Gabby Jesus to get us through another season before the likes of maybe an Erling Haaland comes on the market? Or should we be looking at somebody else? Have I missed somebody? Like I said, I was only using 442's top 10 for all 3 episodes, but maybe there's somebody else out there that we missed. But anyway, take care and enjoy the video, and we will definitely be back with more transfer news as the silly season progresses. But take care, and we'll see you soon.